So here is the final results of me spray painting the ruby red on the red parts of the Sinanju. Take a look at that. Wow, it's pretty good. Spray paint it on the other side just in case. And here's a small sample amount of all the other parts. The other ones are drying, so I'm gonna put that to the side, of course, but I want to show you these guys first. And foremost, I have to say, this has actually been quite a chore. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but it is what it is, to say the least. You definitely, this paint job really has taught me a lot about patience and pressure and the different combinations of paint. Sometimes sometimes you think you're gonna fuck it up, and then sometimes you have to say, oh wow, I didn't expect this to happen. You really there are those out there who study, who not only paint all the time, knows what sort of pigments and colorations and base colors that you'll need to form a specific color. And I'm slowly beginning to learn that. I'm not an expert at this. I'm only going what everybody else does. And then there's those occasions where I say, oh, okay, really, I can do that? Let me show you this. But the paint job is really nice. I mean, the brilliance on this looks great. It unfortunately does have a purplish hue on it. I thought it is ruby-ish. I wondered maybe if I had to paint. I wonder if I had to paint it metallic black first, gloss black first, followed by the chrome or the aluminum, and then this. Maybe it would have been a little too darker. Well, whatever. It's done. It is what's gonna be, and I hope you guys appreciate the work that I've done. I'm gonna put these to the side, put them away, and now I'm going to be moving on to the black parts, and you know what that is. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next stage of the Sinanju OVA build, and that is, of course, the reverse wash of the black parts. Now, some parts, I've already primed all the black parts, as you can see here. Some parts will not require me to paint the gold, they'll be painted black, or the gloss. Well, yeah, let's redo that again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next stage of this build, and that's going to be the reverse wash of all the black parts using the technique that everybody's been telling me to do. Before I begin, I had to go to the hobby store to pick up a couple of things, and the one thing I've picked up was, of course, Model Master's Enamel paint. This is a gloss black. So this is clearly going to be the next paint I'm going to use on this. Now, I've already primed all the parts, as you can see here. It's dried and ready to go. I'm just going to review each and every one of them, make sure there's no coagulation of the primer. Then I'm going to spray paint this. Some parts I'm going to be spray painting and it'll be done, and that will be some of the black parts, like this part here, which goes behind the back. The parts for the foot, we got one here and another one back there. This little part here that I'm trying to remember where this belongs to, but a majority of these parts are, of course, with the gold, with the trim, which, of course, once I finish painting this, I will move on to the next color, which will be the gold. I would like to thank everybody for showing me, of course, the reverse wash techniques, and I've credited me a few people who sent me emails and said, listen, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Sorry that I couldn't, you know, follow up on this prior, but now that I see it, now that I understand it, I'm not going to move on to that. So here is all the black parts primed, and now here are all the parts painted gloss black. And right now I'm going to review each and every one of them. I don't know if you guys can see this properly. The black doesn't show pretty well, but then again I'm in an angle where you probably can't see it right. So let me see if I can adjust this camera a bit and then bring it down this like that. So as you can see in the reflection of the light, there's the trim, and the parts have a nice high gloss finish, as you can see. Some parts, like these, which goes on behind the rear shield, rear skirt, I painted it, but I don't have to worry about me redoing it again, painting it gold. Some parts I'm looking at that I may have to do another pass because I guess some sort of filament or some little notch there is formed up here, so I may have to repass it again. These are the, you know, the feet, of course, right there. I have this part, which I don't know what that is. I'm trying to find out what it is. The shield. There's the shield right there. There's the emblem, as you can see, right there. Here is, of course, the emblem on the forearm. And clearly the reason why we're gloss painting it first is because we want the reflection of the gold look well on this. And the gold paint that I'm going to be using, for those of you who don't know, is this number 9 Mr. Hobby's Gold Metallic. So give me a minute while I review this, and I am going to paint all these parts gold. So now here are all the parts painted gold using my Mr. Hobby gold number 9, Mr. Color gold number 9. And some parts, as you could see here, I only focused on the areas where the trims are. Some parts that didn't need to be sprayed on, it's going to be resprayed anyway, it's going to still show black. So it's the trim parts that I had to work on. An example of this one right here. Here's one example with the trim right there. You can see that. Got this one right here. You can take a look at that. That pretty much came out nice. Then we have this guy right here. I've seen this in a couple of videos of people actually beginning to do the reverse wash using this one, so I'll try that out here. I guess the most difficult part that I think I'm going to be working on would probably be the shield. Not because it's a large concentration of parts. Right now it's still drying, so I have to sand it a little bit here. But you have, like, not only on top of this all this trim, but the leading edges as well. Not to mention the emblem in front of it. So this one was close to a bit of a chore. While I was spray painting all the black parts gold, I was also spray painting some of the yellow parts as well. Like this little part here. Some of them are very small, and I didn't realize that some of them will require some panel lining. Like these parts here, which goes under the shoulder parts. there's a little bit of a wedge there, which I guess panel lining, it'll bring it out a little bit more. So that's something I'm gonna have to look at. Don't think I'll be doing a reverse wash on this, no reason to, but I wanted to get that out of the way so that way I can say it's done, and then I don't have to worry about it later on saying, oh my god, I forgot to do this. So now the next thing is, after I wait until it dries, I'm going to repaint all these parts using the Model Master Paint Enamel. And I didn't realize that, at first I thought I didn't have enamel thinner, because clearly lacquer based thinner and enamel thinner are two different breeds, and I have a distinct feeling if I would have used a regular lacquer based thinner, I could probably damage this part more. Fortunately, I found that I had this stowed away in my tools, airbrush thinner for enamel. So I'm hoping that this will allow me to do what I want to try. So let's wait until this dries and then begin the reverse wash after I paint the gloss black.